continue to express this enough, the importance of taking care of your fingerprints. So let me start with something because a few of you have asked. If you are more recent to real estate, meaning you've been licensed within the past couple of years, you are most likely safe. But the way to verify that is to go to your public-facing profile on ADRE.gov, search yourself, and it will tell you valid fingerprint clearance card on file, yes or no. If it says no, you need to get a new one. Any FPCCs that you have for other jobs or for concealed carry or any of those things will not apply. So it doesn't matter that you just got one for being a teacher a month ago. You will have to get a new one. And the reason for that is you have to designate the Department of Real Estate as a receiving entity for any time your prints are run. That is why we're going through this entire process to begin with. While your prints don't change, the process of reporting has changed. So I've shared this numerous times. You are welcome to attend one of those ungodly, costly situations that like WeServe is putting on. But at the end of the day, the most difficult part about this is actually completing the application with DPS, and you have to do that no matter what. So I'm trying to encourage you, save about $100 and do this all yourself. Go to the DPS website. The hyperlink has been in my newsletters. I will continue to share that. Fill in as much as you can. As another reminder, I do not know what you need to be putting in. So calling me and asking me questions is going to be an act of futility because I don't know. I don't remember what I did. That was 2 weeks ago. I have no idea what the questions were that they asked me. There was, I know. The first time I don't know something. I know. I didn't spend too much time on this because I don't want to be the answerer of questions when it comes to these things. However, you can always contact the Department of Real Estate. You can always contact DPS directly. So you fill out that application online. In an ideal world, it'll take you less than 10 or 15 minutes. Chances are you will screw something up. It will tell you what you've screwed up. You go back and you fix it. Right through there, you get a registration number, you go, and that is what you submit to FieldPrint to actually get your prints done. Okay? Yes, you can wait. Yes, you continue to push this off. However, as I forewarned you, everybody else is waiting too because this isn't mandatory yet. So my recommendation is get it done as quickly as you can. Yes. Yes. ADRE has uploaded a couple of tips as well on their website. So just something you might want to look at before you get into this. Your 1099s. Your 1099s, if you were with us for 2025, have been uploaded into your zone profile. So you are able to retrieve them from there. We have had a situation where there wasn't one in there. So if you do bump into that problem, just let me know and we'll email accounting and have them send it to you. But again, do you know who does not have your 1099s? I'm so impressed by my Canva usage lately. So I've created a whole new graphic for our book club, which is very edgy. We have actually planned out our reading for the next 6 months. So for those of you who are interested in knowing exactly what those books are going to be, let me know. I will send out an email that just kind of summarizes what we're looking at. But the next one is going to be on March 10th, and it is here in the office. And the book, sorry, people at home, you just got my arm, is $100 Million Leads. Has anybody read this book before? How many of you are going to read it prior to March 10th? That was the most lackluster response I have ever seen. It looks bigger than it is a school book because you know what? You all need to be taught. It looks worse than it is. It is more of a workshop style, which I'm very excited about. So it's easy reading once you actually get into it, but it's going to be practical steps for building up a really good lead funnel. So this is the book for March. Some of you all are missing out. You're talking about how you don't know what the hell you're doing, but you don't attend book club. And here we're talking about these amazing ways we're going to change the world. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, but I'm going to do it to myself for the benefit of all of you. So that What's That Form is actually going to be a 3-week series because I absolutely will not tackle the purchase contract in one sitting. So we are going to do part 1 starting next Wednesday, and then it'll be the next 3 Wednesdays. We're going to go through sections 1 through 3. Then we'll go through 4 through 6, and then we'll finalize with 7 through 9. All of these will be recorded. They will be via Zoom only because I have way too many attendees to do this live. And they will be uploaded to my YouTube channel. I'm hoping that by dissecting this a little better, it'll be easier, and then we don't have to be on Zoom for 6 hours trying to go through all of this. So I'm hoping breaking it up will make a little more sense. But that will be in my newsletter, so all of you can register for it. How many of you know that the purchase contract was changed again on February 1st? Get ready, because I have a question about that later. For those of you who are in a category to win an award from WeServe for your 2025 production, I will have the hyperlink ready to go for you. I will not even be here I don't even think it's a luncheon anymore. I think it's just an awards presentation. They actually do it at WeServe. But for those of you who are going to win something, you need to register yourselves. So please make sure if that is of interest to you that you do it. And there's a separate fee for attending versus attending and getting an award, but all of that is going to be on the WeServe site itself. But I just want to make you aware of it. My awards, however, are not just a ceremony. They are an anti-ceremony. It is a fireworks show and gold champagne and little macarons and actually doing something down with the drone by the Goodyear sign. So if you closed 15 units or $5 million with Realty One Group in 2025, you should have an invitation to attend. This is a closed event, meaning only award recipients are invited to attend. If you have not seen the e-bite come through for this and you believe you are getting an award, please reach out and let me know. For everybody else, on the 26th, which is a week from today, because I love to burden myself with a ton of events in a single month, we are going to do this from 10 till noon. The office will be closed to everybody else. So again, if you do not have an invite, if you are not participating in the awards, if you're not winning an award, the office is closed from 10 to noon next Thursday. A couple of tech tools. How many of you actually read? I know my own answer before I even ask this question. How many of you actually read the weekly newsletter that comes out from Realty One Group? What a bunch of freaking liars. I'm going to test you right now. What is the name of our AI chatbot? I would take either one of those. Okay, you've just proven me wrong. Damn it, I wore the wrong shirt today. Well done, well done. Okay, so recently they've started adding AI prompt tips, and some of those are pretty cool. So if you haven't been looking at that newsletter, I would check it out. It comes out every Wednesday, but they just have a variety of things that they've been sharing on there. So this one is act as a real estate marketing strategist specializing in hyper-local branding. I'm a real estate agent who wants to become the go-to expert in whatever neighborhood you want to do that in. Help me create a 6-month positioning plan that includes a content strategy for social media, YouTube, and email that showcase deep local knowledge, community involvement ideas that build genuine relationships and visibility, a hyper-local market report template I can send monthly, partnership opportunities with local businesses, and talking points and scripts I can use at community events to naturally generate real estate conversations. And they are all like that. So if you are looking to get more involved with AI and you want to build some plans, I'd be keeping an eye on that. Two of my favorite instructors, and I love them because they are no nonsense. They are the ones who actually work on the development side for all of the tools and resources that you have with Realty One Group. They are teaching today, if you have not already seen or RSVP'd for this afternoon, they are going to go through Creative Studio in OneSuite. If you have not done anything in OneSuite, or if you're not as familiar with it as you would like to be, or with Creative Studio, I would jump on this. You're getting it straight from the source, straight from the people who have kind of developed and designed this from the ground up. So it is today it's 1 o'clock Pacific Standard. Because today is the 19th, not the 18th. So how was it? Did they tell you if they had recorded it? Had recorded it?
They said they were intended to
Okay. I'll reach out and ask for a copy of it, and then I will send it out so that you can all watch it today at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. Okay, I'm going to have you stand right here so people at home can hear you.
Well, hello, everyone. It's nice to see some new faces. Can you guys hear me back there? Perfect. Well, I'm Lindsay Smith with Old Republic Home Protection. So home warranties, for those of you that are not familiar with them, they're systems and appliances that malfunction due to normal wear and tear. So that's what we help cover. Platinum is our best plan. So when you are negotiating, just know $785. Our old pricing was $750, and sometimes I still see that coming across. So just make sure $785 is in your brain, or just 800 if you want to, think of an easy number. I wanted to go through, actually, real quick, fingerprinting. That was something that you were just talking about. I do have a class next Wednesday. It's $50 for you to show up, and then you have to get a money order of $67. We fill out the application for you very thoroughly. So if you are interested in that, please shoot me a text message. 602-918-0678 is my phone number. You can come get me later if you need that again. But we have a few slots left, so let me know if you are interested in that. I just wanted to run through our toolbox and why it's important to have a toolbox account. So when you have the toolbox account, you can, one, order home warranties off of it, but just know that that's something that I can help you do as well. So if you send me all the information, I can order home warranties for you. But the toolbox, super easy, just log in. There's also marketing stuff in there. You may not like all the marketing stuff, so I am a big fan of ROD, rip off and duplicate. So if you like some of the content that's on our stuff and you want your favorite title company to just, recreate that for you to make it look all pretty, feel free. It's in there. It's ready for you. You can customize it with your headshot and all that. So just know that that is in there. If you ever need help, I'm happy to sit with you and help you learn how to navigate that as well. Also, in the toolbox account, you can do the e-cards, which will notify you confirmation. So as soon as a home warranty is submitted, you get that confirmation that it was submitted and ordered. And then you get the service notification. So if your clients were to make a claim, you're going to get notified of that. So I always just let people know that's an extra touch point for you to follow up with them and make sure that everything was taken care of. If it was not, that's when I get involved. You give me a call and I can help escalate things, and I can help you get your clients taken care of in a more timely manner. And then happy anniversary and congratulations. Those are good because we set it up to where it looks like it comes from you. So all you have to do is hit forward, and then you just delete some of the information at the top, and then you send it off to your client, and it's wishing them a happy anniversary for their 1 year of the sale, or congratulations for the purchase of their home and their home warranty. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about the Homeowner Central, which is for your actual clients. If they go to our website, orhp.com, they can go to the Homeowner Central, and this is where they can register their plan. They can request service. So just know they don't always have to call, especially during summer. They don't have to call into the 800 number and sit on wait, because we are a national company, and during summer, wait times get longer. So you can request service online, and it works just as well as if you were to call in. They can access the name and the phone number of the service provider. So if they need to get a hold of the service provider that's coming out to the home, either to reschedule or see the status, they have that information right there in the homeowner central. They can check the status of their service request, view service history, manage their plan, renew plans. So just know when their renewal comes up, they can opt into that monthly plan, or they can still pay for the yearly plan as well if they choose to do that. So that's a gist of everything I wanted to go over today. Is there any questions? Yeah.
You said that we will be notified for the services that happen to either listing or the buyers we represent. Okay. So let's say this become a seller 5-6 years later because we know what services do not, and seller forget to disclose something. Are we liable?
Yep. Yeah.
So I better not get notified.
So I think that it's a catch-22, right? Depending on the circumstances, is this a material issue or is this somebody who just, wanted to complain about a minor leak about something? No matter what, you are right. You've just been made aware of it, and ultimately, if you do end up listing that property down the road, you have an equal level of liability for things about which you're aware of. You get a 50-cent Starbucks gift card. I don't even think that pays for a shot of flavor anymore. So
Right. Awesome. All right. Thank you.
No, good.
Good. Thank you, everyone.
Come on up. How many of you attended the FinCEN class yesterday? Excellent.
I'm gonna go first.
I'm gonna scoot underneath here so you both can kind of squeeze over.
Little housekeeping right now. We do have a new purchase contract that just came out. And if you do have the digital buyer and seller guide, I've been redoing those. So if you have something that you want to send out to your clients through a digital source like email at an open house, let me know and I'll do your new buyer seller guide for you so that you can do that. We also customize the front with your information. If you want to do a promo page on the first page, you can do that as well. Just let me know and I'll help you design that. Another thing, I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce myself.
They know who you are.
I've been here so long. I'm Amy Hollister with Rock Title. This is Melissa Lewis, our escrow officer. I also have several of these left. We have 2026 day planners still. So if you would like one, I have several with me. I also have some at the office. Let me know and we'd be happy to save one for you. And Melissa's going to actually talk about the FinCEN ruling.
Good morning, everybody. So for those who have not heard, FinCEN is a new reporting for certain real estate transactions that this is a government requirement. It's not a title company requirement for certain transactions that close March 1st or later to help prevent fraud and money laundering. So files that close March 1st, which is coming up, doesn't matter when they're opened, when they're listed, when they went under contract, if they are closing March 1st or later, and they follow under these requirements, and we do have to report it to FinCEN. So the contracts or the transactions that are required for reporting are any cash buyers that are a trust or a entity. If they are purchasing with cash or a hard money lender, then they are required for us to report to FinCEN. So hard money lenders are going to be your personal loans, if they are trust, if they are an LLC or an individual, then we do have to report it if the buyer is a trust or an LLC or an entity. No, any transactions. So if the buyer, so the key word is the buyer is a trust or an entity.
You're so screwed.
I know.
Just like my $5,000 lot sales, we're all gonna have to do these for every single one.
So I forgot where it was. So if it is reportable, then we're going to flag our files. The buyers and sellers both have to report their personal information. They will get a notification through a secure portal for them to go in and provide their legal names, their addresses, social security numbers, date of births, and maybe some other information, the driver's license number. If it's a trust, there's multiple trustees. All of them have to report, every single trustee. If it's an entity and there's multiple members and managers that own 25% or more, they all have to report their information, their personal information. And then the sellers also have to report their personal information as well. So even though it doesn't affect the sellers, but they're part of this transaction, they have to go in and provide their information as well. The other thing is a buyer will also have to provide where the funds are coming from. They want to know the amounts that are being paid, the accounts that they're coming from, their account numbers and like routing numbers as well. So that will all have to be recorded. It is a secure portal. It should not take much time, like 10, 15 minutes if they're tech savvy, hopefully. The portal should be fairly simple. Like they'll ask them a certain question and we'll direct them to the things that they have to provide. Nothing has to be uploaded, so like no documentation or anything like that. So hopefully it won't take very long. Yes.
If the cash is from the sale of one house and it goes straight from that title to the new title,
Yes.
that still counts?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no matter how they're acquiring the cash.
Yeah.
It will have to be reported.
And also seller carrybacks. So if it's a seller carryback, that seller is not a lender. So it is.
You really are
also
getting
reported.
screwed every way this falls.
Yeah.
How long does it take the process?
So like I said, it's just a portal that they're gonna be going into. So, and they just have to put in their personal information. So if they're tech savvy, I don't think it's gonna take very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But the thing is that we can't close without this information. So if the buyers and sellers are not wanting to provide us this information, or they're not wanting to go into the portal, which I know that sometimes happens, that's the only thing that's gonna delay closing. We cannot close without this information. There's lots of violations and fees and fines and possible jail time that we're inquiring if we don't report these transactions. And so with that being said, we cannot close without this information.
So how long before the transaction closes would you recommend?
So we will be flagging our files. Obviously, when we're opening files, we're gonna see the contract. We're gonna know if it's a cash or hard money loan with a trust or LLC. We'll mark our file in our system, and then that will automatically send emails out to the buyers and sellers for them to go into this secure portal to put in the information. Yeah, and it will send out reminders if they're not doing it.
There are people out there that are like, I can't go online, mail me, well, let's see.
Yep,
Yeah.
9 pages long.
Yeah,
You can't do it.
but it's very long. 9 pages, she just said. It's like 200 questions is what I heard, because it's asking a question for every single situation, as opposed to the portal. It like, if it's a trust, it'll delete all the LLC or entity. Yeah, so the portal's gonna be the best bet, but there is a paper version as well.
Their title would say, come over, spin out, go down my computer, and do it that way.
Yeah.
So if you have something that's in escrow right now, it's not after May 2nd close date.
March 1st,
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
March 2nd. For never March.
which is a Sunday, so second, yeah.
Don't worry, I just thought an entire class was happening this afternoon.
Yeah, so I've been looking at the files coming up that I have,
Kind of warm.
just to make sure we're not gonna cause.
And it does need to be, the number of brokers that sat on a call with AAR yesterday that were asking dumbass questions, in my opinion, was outrageous. There are 3 triggers. I don't know why this is so difficult to understand. It's a residential property, and understandably, there are some nuances to what that means, but there's a really good breakdown that I'm going to share with you after the meeting. The buyer is paying cash, and the buyer is an entity or a trust. Okay, so if it's just a person, does this apply? No. If it's an industrial warehouse, does this apply? No. If they're getting, and this was actually a good question, I'll give them this. Correct me if I'm wrong. If they get a loan for any amount, they do not have to follow through this.
As long as it's not a hard
Hard
money
money loan.
personal loan. So hard money loans, I know we all considered hard money loans, like these lenders, these little side lenders, but a lot of them have the registered NMLS number, like a licensing number. So if they have a registered NMLS number, they are not required. And this is not, the reporting is not required. It's going to be the individual. So like if I'm lending Leah money to purchase a home, or my LLC is lending Leah money, or my trust, those are the ones, or seller carrybacks. Those are the ones that are going to be reportable. But if they're getting a traditional loan, conventional FHA, it's not, we don't have to report it.
So did you say if they buy a warehouse with cash? They do not.
Commercial does not apply.
Correct. Commercial does not apply.
But land deals that are intended for residential use, like to be built on, they are required to be
So all
reported.
the bad guys are just gonna buy warehouses instead of houses.
Commercial.
Potentially.
Village.
And so, yeah.
The bad guys, listen, it's money laundering. This is white collar crime, okay? If I was smart enough to do it, I'd be washing my dollar bills in the washing machine, okay? Cost.
So it is going to incur a cost to the buyer. We are charging $150 per transaction. Other title companies might be doing other things, but that is our cost to the buyer for this report.
And I have heard up to $400. So at least at this point, so that might be something that your buyer wants to inquire about as to what that's going to cost them to process this.
So we're just asking you guys as the agents to just notify your buyers and sellers that this is information that is required. It is a federal requirement, not a title company, not Arizona. This is nationwide for all transactions that would fall under these requirements. And then also just to be said that any deeds that are recorded outside of closing, so this is not part of the transaction, like I just want to put my property from my name to my LLC, those also have to be recorded as well. So even though there's no money denomination, those are also having to be recorded. So with that said, we're no longer doing courtesy deeds or recordings or any of that. We can provide you to a third party. And I did verify my person that I refer out will do the reporting for you guys or for your clients. Any other questions?
It's one more thing to deal with.
But it shouldn't.
It's not on you. She's going to jail, but it's not on you.
I don't show up to a meeting.
So at the end of the day, maybe that's the best thing you walk away with. Know that this exists and prepare your clients accordingly, but you're not at risk of losing
And
anything.
you don't want to be entering the information for them, because then you could be liable at that point. It's like, I mean, you don't want to put that information in the system because then you could be liable if anything is not correct.
Yeah.
That's something you don't want to be liable for.
All right,
you guys.
thank you. Oh, Ray Gifford has raised her hand, but I won't be able to hear you, so you're gonna have to type it into the chat. All right, Tony, come on up. You're the next contestant. Oh, hold on. I did something and then I didn't do something. You can still start talking. I'm just gonna change this out for you.
Matter how often I do this, I still get done this. So my name is Tony Valdez. I've been structuring loans for 24 years, and I'm best known for taking a transaction that's falling apart somewhere, rebuilding it, and closing it. So if you have any of those issues going on, please see me, because oftentimes it's not as bad as everyone makes it. Okay, so keep that in mind. What I have here, this is a forecast. So I follow what's called MBS Highway. Some of you might know who that is if you're in the lending business, but it's one of the premier organizations that we watch to understand where the market is, where the bonds are going, and what's anticipated to happen down the road in terms of interest rates. And this is Barry Habib. He is the founder and creator of MBS Highway, and these are his forecasts for 2026. 2025, he was within minutia of what his forecast. So this is very, very important for all of us. Unemployment rate is right around 4.8%. Is what he's saying. 2.5% for the core PCE inflation. That's the consumer price index, something like that. Funds rates, 2.875. We know what a federal fund rate is, right? That's the one that the Fed can reduce and raise and stuff like that. Does it affect us directly? No, that's money that's the money that they borrow from bank to bank overnight. Okay, how that affects us is how the markets interpret that. Okay, how do they feel about it? How does the stock market, the bond market? That's how it affects our interest rates ultimately. And then after they do this thing, then they have this big meeting afterwards, and depending on what comes out of the Federal Reserve's mouth, it's what affects the rate itself. So that's very important. Mortgage rate low is being forecasted to be somewhere about 5.7, 5.75, and this is talking conventional loans. Sometime in this year, should somebody wait? No, because right now we're averaging 6.125 on a conventional loan. I just did one recently on a second home at 6.125, which is substantial. And I tell people all the time, that's as bad as it's going to be. Because when rates drop, you have the opportunity to refinance at a lower cost and lower your payment. So this is as bad. So when you're talking to your clients, you say, this is it. This is as bad as it gets. Okay? Because if rates go up, you're not doing anything. You're going to stay right here. But when rates go down, you have the opportunity to reduce your rates. Some of them, they're streamlined refinances, the VA and FHA. There's a lot of ways that people can save money. And home appreciation, 3.5% on average nationally. Arizona has been really great on overall in appreciation. We average around 4% a year. We had one time during the 2008 drop. Sorry, I saw this. Hi. Where they dropped dramatically, but that was a fluke. That wasn't something that was going to happen all the time. So appreciation is awesome. I love it. You know, I bought a house in 2020 for X amount, and today it's worth X amount. You know, we build family wealth by helping people buy homes. That's what we do. So keep that in mind. That's ultimately what we're doing, is helping families create family wealth. I wanted to talk about this, but I also wanted to mention too that 100 Days to Greatness has come out. We've started it. Last week was our first meeting. This week is this. I think it's phenomenal. We have 11 participants who have taken the challenge and are doing it well. So I'd like to applaud them. Who's here from that? There's quite a few. It's really phenomenal. We had a great meeting last week. We're going to continue this week with some more, and we're just growing and growing and growing. So I'm really excited. I'm going to put this out in surprise as well. This right here kind of, it's right here. Sorry, I growl. So this came out because I recently helped someone with a transaction that was falling apart, and it really shouldn't have been. And once I got a hold of it,
It was me. I was that someone.
okay. Should I discuss it a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. So essentially it'd been going on since October of last year. On and on and on and on and on. And then ultimately, Leah was able to say, listen, I'm done with you. I'll send it over to Tony. I got a hold of it, found out that the young lady is a first-time home buyer, doesn't understand processes, wasn't explained anything. So she was trying to make it easy by opening up bank accounts and putting money in there and doing all kinds of things, you know, that we're not supposed to do. And when I got a hold of it, I was able to print out everything, lay it out. And then with that, I was able to write a nice letter of explanation to the underwriter, validated it all, turned it back in, and it closed within 3 weeks. Okay. So the last day was kind of fun, but oh yeah. Yeah, it's fine. It still ended up doing well. So it wasn't nothing we did. It's just, again, first-time home buyer, and we need to continuously educate them, because what they think they're doing to help is to be detrimental to the transaction. And we have to really communicate that. So this is where this comes from, is the ability to run scenarios for you really quick. I'm super advocate of AI and ChatGPT. I wish my thing was up, but it didn't show up here today. I created an image that's in my office through ChatGPT with my word, which is steadfast. And it's phenomenal. And it's actually taken my business and tightened it up and given me the opportunity to be better and faster than I've ever been in my transactions. So it's phenomenal. So not only do I know my guidelines like by heart, but with ChatGPT, I can find what I'm looking for within minutes instead of hours of digging through books, everything else, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So I really encourage you to look at that and start building it up a little bit for you. Pre-approvals that stick. Obviously, I'm able to get once you get a pre-approval or a pre-qualification from me, it's done. It's a done deal. I'm expanding now to 12-day closings. And a 12-day closing is the ability to take a transaction, all the initial documentation, submit it to the underwriter while they're out shopping, get it fully approved, issue a commitment letter from the underwriter, which strengthens your pre-qual, okay? And then once I get a contract, I close it in 12 days. So that's another tool that we're going to implement, because as we get busier, we need to come up with ways to be better in our offers, okay, of what we're actually offering for the buyers themselves. And then of course, rescue and stuck files, 48-hour triage. They happen really fast. So I get it within 48 hours. I've triaged the file. I've restructured it, sent it back to underwriter 2 days later, 48 hours. 2 days later, I have a conditional approval, and I know what else I have to chase at that point, and then it goes into closing. Over here, this is my secret weapon. Now, Leah said this years ago. Okay, create a board for your open houses. A board. So I took mine, I dusted it off, and I stick it in the corner in an open house. It's very specific to that house's pricing, but every individual is different. What does this do? This allows somebody, we don't stand there like, you're over here, you know, and away from it, and allowing them to go and stand there, and then it's a conversation starter. It's a way to start a communication with the buyer, and it gives them an opportunity to look at different options of potentially purchasing that home. Because when we're at an open house, our main purpose is to start a conversation with somebody. That really is it, you know. We might sell the house, we might not, but ultimately it's getting that conversation started, creating the rapport, and eventually developing that into a sale, a purchase, or a buyer. So I really encourage you guys to do that. I can do that for any house that you have. I will not buy the boards for you. Okay. Or the easels. People have done that. Ask me, well, you can, no. You got to do an investment yourself. So you do that, and then I can send that all out, and you can create your board to it. And again, using AI can help you create this a lot quicker and a lot smoother with your message of what you wanted to say. I have some printouts there about the loan checklist. Again, great for first-time home buyers and anybody that you're working with. What am I going to need to get pre-approved? It's right here. So you can check. This is what you need. And then if you want any sort of open house conversion strategies, we can sit down and discuss that. My QR code is for my calendar there, and we can sit down and strategize together. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. 24 hours at least. Yeah, give me a minute. Okay, but I mean, if you're obviously, and I'm a big proponent of planning your open houses a week before, not like the day before or the day of, because how can, you know, it's like, okay, I'm going to slap a sign out in the middle of the road somewhere, and anybody coming? No, you want to market it. You want to do things. That's what Listings to Leads is all about. That's a program that I also offer, where you can market and you can put it out there for people to know what you're doing, besides Zillow and every place else that people see that. So if you're going to plan a week ahead of time, send me the listing, send me the information. I'll create all the marketing material, that along with flyers and financing and all that good stuff, because Rock will create the pictures for the home and give you all the nice stuff for the open house flyer, but I'll create the financing aspect of it for you and email it to you, and you can print it out. Okay. Anything else? Yes, ma'am. What do you ask for? Open house conversion strategy.
Oh, that's very fancy.
I just made that up.
Give me all your open house shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. You know, in subject line, give me all your open house shit. Yeah, so that'll work. Anything that you need, that's what I'm here for. Lending is my sideline. Helping you build your business is my primary purpose.
Don't mind me in my hearts. Thank you. Okay, give me a minute to figure out my life and how to get out of this and back to where I need to go.
Oh, that's what I did.
I'll attach that to the recap. Okay. We left off. Oh, good. Well, we've got good stuff coming up. For money, what are we at? Do we have one more participant for Queen of Hearts? $5 in a business card. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Just one. Come on up, Christina Parrish. Oh, wait. Nope, Ericon beat you. You're out.
Just help you guys out.
Thank you.
You pull out big things. You're struggling.
You got your card.
That would help you. No. Okay, well, you can't win then, so.
Okay,
Thanks
I'm
for the
gonna-
money. He can use my card.
There we go. We'll get an extra card. Who has a card that we can write his name on?
Well, that's good.
If I just pulled up. Yes, he did, to play. Otherwise, how are
That
you?
enhances your chances of winning.
All right, so 65,
No, 7.
70. What day is it today?
No, 18.
All right, who does not have a card right here? Really? Okay, somebody nearby.
Pick the right
Oh,
one.
gosh. Who we got? Kathleen. Oh, nice. Oh, right here. Come on over. All right. $70 for you, and then come on up and see if you draw the queen. Now that might buy a Starbucks.
I'll buy one. And a drink.
Wah, wah, wah. And so it continues. So now we have $1,090 in the jackpot for next month. Only if you use it to buy one of Kelly's lots. So I'm going to share with the team meeting recap, I'm going to share more of these slides if you want to use them in your marketing. I've been really touting the Southwest Valley numbers because that's where we truly shine. Like we're heads above everybody else in every other category. But really for the entire West Valley, not bad, guys, not bad. So when I depress you with some of the things we're going to talk about today, just focus on that sign and know it's been a job well done. All right, broker Q&A. We got some wonky stuff happening. How many of you have heard 1 to list, 2 to sell? Excellent. How many of you have been bitten in the ass by that? Yep, that's what we're going to talk about. So 1 to list, 2 to sell. This is legal in Arizona, meaning if you have multiple people or generally a couple wanting to sell their home, we only need 1 signature on the listing agreement. Legally, that is true. However, what we're bumping into is the 1 person who is signing should not be signing and does not have the authority to actually sell the home or has not conversed with their spouse about the fact that they are trying to sell the home. This has been a big enough problem where I do need to talk about this. It is legally required for both of them to sign the contract to sell, however. So do you see where this is potentially a problem? At some point, we're going to get stuck. We're going to get stuck in a situation where it was only 1 to list. Now we're under contract. Now the sellers and the buyer owe each other certain duties. And now the seller comes back. It's like, well, wait a minute. I'm the wife. I had no idea my husband was trying to sell the home. I had no idea my soon-to-be ex-husband was trying to sell the home. And I'm not signing any of this. So anytime, this is just a word of caution. I really do not want situations unless there are truly extenuating circumstances. And I got to be honest with you, in the wake of digital signatures, I don't know what those extenuating circumstances could possibly be. If you are ever in a situation where there are at least 2 people on that deed, and one of them is saying, oh, it's okay, I'm just going to go ahead and sign everything. The answer is no. I want to know why the other person isn't signing because I have a feeling something untoward is occurring on the back end. So please make sure you're asking the question. Do not fall prey to this 1 to list, 2 to sell nonsense because there's really no reason for it anymore. A longer one. So seller issued a counter offer that expired at 10 a.m. on 1/27. Buyers needed a little more time and the buyer's agent asked the listing agent to give them until 10 a.m. on 1/28. The listing agent agreed. Somebody's smiling because they know whose deal this was. Buyers accepted the counter offer and it was sent to the listing agent at 8 a.m. on 1/28. The listing agent, that should say agent, then called the buyer's agent and said, the seller has changed their mind and will not be moving forward. Are we under contract? How many of you say yes? How many of you say no? How many of you say maybe? We got some attorneys in the bunch. Do we have, when did they sign the counteroffer? Before or after it expired? After it expired. So does the conversation with the listing agent matter? Nope. Nope. So because they had missed that expiration date, we are not under contract. The sellers are not obligated to proceed. You're all very quiet this morning. I have to tell you, it's very disconcerting. When does the buyer need to have utilities turned on and the seller have utilities turned off? This is a fun one. You're all going to give me the same answer and then we're going to have to clarify this. What is the answer?
The seller is 1 day after close of escrow and the buyer is the day of close of escrow.
I like your task list. And why is that? What is the legal time frame? What does the contract say? Close of escrow. Close of escrow. What is the problem with that? We don't know when it's going to occur. It could happen at probably not earlier than, let's say, 9 o'clock in the morning. It could, but probably not. And all the way up until 5 o'clock, right? So we don't know when that's going to occur. So there has to be some overlap. So I like your task list. Yep, let's have seller needs to keep it on until the day after. But on the flip side, the buyer needs to have it turned on the day of. And if they do this correctly, especially with APS, it's just an electronic transfer. Nothing is shut off and turned back on again. It's just all handled on the backside. Yes, agreed. Yeah, agreed. The good thing is, especially in Arizona, it's not hypercritical if like gas is off for a day. Electricity, however, that's a different scenario. Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody has had a different experience, let me know. So far, I have not heard of any issues submitting an estimated settlement statement. Okay. So that ideally that wouldn't be a problem then, as long as they don't require a final copy, to my knowledge. So you should just be able to provide a copy of an estimated settlement statement to get that done. Sometimes I think that questions are easy and then we make them far more complicated than they need to be. How do you withdraw, rescind, or revoke an offer or a counteroffer? In writing. How?
Email would be best, but text.
Email is best. So that's what I was waiting for somebody to say. I was waiting for somebody to say text. That is not okay. Because what does the contract constitute as delivery? What are the 4 ways to deliver? Yep. So text is not sufficient withdrawal or revocation of an offer or counteroffer. Your best option would be via email, unless you want to go old school and fax it over to somebody. That being said, even sending it over via email, I would still follow up with a phone call just to make sure that they got it, because we're having arguments over the time frame of some of these. I think this is stupid, because ultimately, okay, so then we're just going to cancel during the inspection period. I don't understand why we're holding somebody's feet to the fire about this, but fine. But that is the proper way to do it. Ideally through email, follow up with a phone call, and all you're stating is we're withdrawing our offer or counteroffer. That's it. Now you can only do this prior to acceptance. After contract acceptance, that is contract cancellation. That is a different thing. All right, some of the moments you've all been waiting for. I am going to go on record, and my boss is not going to like me. He is trying so desperately to come up with ways to punish you all for your misdeeds that do not involve fining you. I want you fined. I want you fined because I don't think agents will learn their lesson appropriately until it actually hits their pocketbook. So I am pushing hard. I have personally written the penalty policy for the entire Realty One Group organization in Arizona for how I think this should be handled. And is there any violations to the Department of Real Estate? Why is Leah doing this, you might ask? Because as of December 13th, I just became equally responsible for all of your actions because it is now direct supervision as opposed to reasonable supervision. Don't do me dirty. So a couple of things that I want you to be aware of. That is still in the works. It hasn't been put to practice yet. I assure you, you will all know as soon as it is. But here's what I have proposed. One, these will not be an aggregate, meaning if you violate the timeline policy for docs, that is a separate penalty policy than if you violate advertising, okay? The first one would be a verbal warning. The second one would be a written warning. The third one would be a written notice in your file. The fourth one would be a class that you're required to attend, so you learn what you should already know. And then we start fining. I originally was like, let's just sever them. Because after 5 times of being told that they need to correct something, I don't know what the problem is. If I was written up and had something in my file for my company that indicated I've been told not to do something and I'm still doing it, and then we're worried about fining you $25, I'm like, I'd fine him $500. So your president is much more forgiving and much more lenient and apparently loves you more than I do because his license is not at risk for your actions. So let's talk about what some of these things then. Like I said, as soon as the penalty policy is released, you will all be made aware immediately. My concern is I don't want this to drag on too long. The Department of Real Estate has already come out and said, hey, multiple verbal and written warnings are not sufficient. So I'm trying to get ahead of this. Like ultimately they want to see we are doing things to ensure your compliance. Paperwork must be turned in within 72 hours of being signed. No exceptions. This is the one I need you all to know and abide by most critically, because the system tracks it. Like there's no fudging this. There is no, I didn't see it. There is no escape from this situation. Okay, you must have your signed paperwork turned in within 72 hours. No exceptions. Some of you are really bad about this. Some of you have templates created for your document delay letter. I will not call you out publicly. You know who you are, and there's enough of you where this is a major concern. So make a note, whatever it takes. You all crack me up with this, well, I got busy and I got this and that. You put the damn deal together. You were able to write the offer. You were able to forward it. You were able to open escrow. You were able to get, I'm hoping, dear God, I'm hoping you did all of this. You were able to get it over to the lender. Quite literally, it takes 3 minutes with our new AI bot to create a file in SkySlope. It is no more work to upload your documents there than it is to send the email to the lender and title company. There are no excuses. Get it done. I had to update my weekly newsletter again because one of the requirements is ensuring that our agents are kept in the loop of everything that is going on. My best way to communicate that universally is through my newsletter. Please make sure you read it. I send it out at 8 a.m. every Friday. This has not changed in years. If you are not receiving it, we might have an error on the back end. I have had issues where somebody's mailbox is full, and if it pushes it out once, I can't ever get it back in. I have to do something, and you have to do something with me to make sure you're receiving that. So if you are not seeing my newsletters and you've already checked spam and promos, please let me know. This one is going to be another wild one. So your ABAs. Your ABAs must be signed by your client prior to entering into any contract. What are contracts? Listings, buyer-broker agreements, purchase contracts. So once upon a time, we were very willy-nilly when this got signed, and some of you are signing it after closing because now you can't get paid and you forgot to do it. This is more critical now. This is actually a departmental violation. This is going to fall under the penalty policy. So the first documents, and I'm not saying it has to be done 5 days in advance. My recommendation would be when you have the listing agreement signed or the agency, the buyer broker, those things, have them all together and have them all signed at once. Because really the most critical part about this is going to be the purchase contract, right? Because ultimately that's when they're choosing their lender, their title company, any home warranty company. So those relationships exist. On this same note, while we will not require at this point for the other side to sign the ABA for us, we need to deliver that. So you're getting it signed with your listing contract or with your buyer broker agreement, and then you are sending that with any offers that you are making. Because that's the best way, right? We're not under contract yet. So sending that over with the offer is the best way to ensure that the other party is receiving it. On that note, expect that you are going to start receiving ABAs with offers. Some will have lines for signatures for our clients, some won't. It's up to you. I don't think that there is any harm in them signing for acknowledgement of receipt thereof. I do anticipate that ADRE is going to require that down the road. But for right now, we have to have proof that it was sent to the other party prior to contract acceptance. This was a new one, and I disagree. I disagree with a great many things, honestly, but there's only so many things I can fight at once. Once upon a time, if you would ask me, hey, if I have an email from my seller asking me to reduce the price, is that sufficient? And I would have told you absolutely. Those are written instructions, right? Nope. Nope. ADRE has come out and said that is not sufficient any longer. You must have something signed by them indicating that they wish to reduce their price or make any modifications to their listing. So you would need the sold change form and or the listing contract addendum for that purpose. And the other one that is most violated. So we've got the 72-hour paperwork rule, which is violated far more often than it should be. But then we also have our advertising. I honestly don't know what we're going to do about social media marketing. I don't even know how one would send that to me in advance. And I have raised these concerns. How would you send me a TikTok video in advance of you posting it for me to verify that it's compliant? You can send me your video, assuming you're not shooting live, but then that's not necessarily going to reflect, okay, is Realty One Group referenced somewhere? It can be stated, the person speaking can say it in the video. You can have an overlay on the video. You can geotag, okay, where you say, hey, this is where I'm at. You can geotag Realty One Group. And boy, did I not think that through, because it's all connected to my personal Facebook. So all I keep getting are these notifications about you've been tagged, you've been tagged, you've been tagged. That's okay. I will do that for you, just so long as you are staying compliant. So we've gone through a lot of ways to ensure that. Your bigger issues are going to be your signage, your flyers, static posts, and your real estate websites. If you are using your OneSuite site, you're good to go. Don't worry about it. If you are having somebody custom design a site for you, please make sure that Realty One Group appears in the upper left-hand corner on every single page with no need to scroll. I'm getting a lot of this. I'm not sure if I should be concerned or if we're all good. Questions? I'm going with concerned too.
Sure.
It should be on the left. And it actually has to do with the way that we read. So I know that that seems silly, but that's the reason for it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's been a lot of, I think I mentioned maybe at the last meeting on a broker call that I was on, Rick Mack, who was formerly, he's a real estate attorney, and he was formerly AAR legal counsel, head of AAR legal counsel. He misstated something that the department put into place. So this is what other agents and brokers are hearing, and it's very concerning to me that we're not even all on the same page. We have asked ADRE, and by we, I mean AAR has asked ADRE for clarification on some of the things that they have put out, and their answers were just as vague as the original provision. So we're really struggling through parts of this, especially as it relates to advertising. I will share with you what I know when I know it. I know many of you have reached out and you have told me so-and-so is violating this, so-and-so is violating this. I'm telling you right now, I don't want to get into that game, because if I start reporting people, every one of you is going to fall under the radar. So my recommendation is, if you see something that is out of compliance, just reach out to that agent directly. And all you need to let them know is, hey, not sure if you're aware, but the Department of Real Estate updated their advertising guidelines in December. You might want to check with your broker about this. Because if it's not, for you all, if it's not readily noticeable that you work for Realty One Group, you are probably out of compliance. And that goes for any other agent and their respective brokers. Questions? There are a couple. Oh, okay. Those raising your hands, type them in because I can't hear you. Okay, let's see. Email the cross agent, fax, email, in person via. Yes. They have closing recording. Good. What about receipt contract from new construction? Yeah, Ray, that's a really good question. So we know that in many cases, we do not receive a new construction contract in a timely manner. Very rarely will you get it within 72 hours. We understand that there are exceptions, and there's nothing we can do. In some cases, it's being signed by 4 different people through the builder. So we just need to make sure that from whenever we receive it, one, we're taking action to try to receive a copy. Okay, just don't let it sit. Ask your buyers for a copy. Ask the whoever the builder rep is for a copy. You should be actively trying to pursue this. However, if they still are just getting pushback, keep a paper trail and just upload a copy. I would upload a copy of my emailed request, and when I physically received that email with the new build contract, I would upload that to my SkySlope file so that I have proof of when it was actually received. What if there is a clause in the listing agreement that states there will be automatic reductions with dollar amount and dates frequency? Jenner, you are my girl. I love you. You know I like that. Yes, that is sufficient because you have them signing the listing agreement. So what she's saying is she's taking a listing, and she's smart. So right up front, they are already agreeing to price drops on certain dates for certain amounts. So they're going to put that right into the listing contract. She's not going to go every 2 weeks back to them and ask them for another signed paper. She won't need it. They agreed to this up front. They're going to keep reducing the price by $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 until they accept a contract. So if you're not doing that, it's definitely something you might want to consider, especially in this market. And that's totally fine. You would not have to have separate forms in that case because they've signed the listing agreement. Okay. Yes.
Going back to the one where if it was signed and sent after the response time allotted. If, so that happened, let's just say that happens on, the listing agent responding late on the first one, and then there's another counter offer, it's not acknowledged that it was received late, they go ahead and send another counter offer, and then you're going back and forth, and then the person who got received late said, oh, we did not have counter one, we don't want to proceed, but they've already acknowledged and moved forward on another, then what?
Yeah, so we probably have a potential argument, but again, at that juncture, I'm like, okay, so they don't want to proceed. Why are we going to drag this out? I get what you're saying. So ultimately, they took action to indicate that they were proceeding, and then they've changed their mind now that that's actually come to fruition. Contractually, they're bound to perform because their previous action had already indicated their intent to proceed. But this is where I'm like, we're not talking about black and white of contracts at this point. Now we're talking about intention. So with that intention, then could we potentially lock them down if, let's say, in this case, it was the buyer who really wanted to proceed and the seller continued to be late, but then the seller did sign something and now we're moving forward. The seller would have a hard time with that, but it would still, like, I don't even know that title would rule on something like that. They're like, go to mediation. That's a tough one. If a unique situation like that does happen, where it's not just, hey, somebody missed the timeline, but we cut it right there, it literally has dragged on before somebody tried to withdraw, let me know, because that's probably going to be a broker conversation. You're looking at me like you already have that situation. So I had mentioned we had 4 forms revisions on February 1st. So the real estate purchase contract, the vacant land purchase contract, the commercial contract, and the residential contract. What changed? Wait, so, somebody said something. Speak up. Oh, that was actually last year. Was it? Yeah, I'm right there with you because I noticed that on AAR, if you go to their website, it still shows up as a highlighted. Yeah, okay. That's why I'm so far past the CAB because I was the one who petitioned AAR to remove that. I'm like, that's been years for me. So yes, the CAB is no longer in existence, but that was last February. There was only one change aside from the dates that they had indicated. And another one of the ADRE rules, in case you're not tired of them yet, was that there had to be written acknowledgement and explanation in the contract for who was being paid. So they've actually just added a real simple line under the who represents whom on the last page of each of those contracts as to who is going to be entitled to compensation based on the closing. That's it. It's nothing major. Well, the ADRE updates weren't concerning enough, so let's get into market stats. I was laughing, not totally laughing, but when Tony was talking about, hey, I bought in 2020 and now my equity's up here. And I'm like, yeah, but if you bought in 2022, that's not the case. And we're seeing this. We're already starting to see more foreclosures and short sales from people who have purchased within the last few years because the market has not been able to continue its upward trend from a median perspective. Where we're getting totally thrown off is the average. The average continues to grow, but why is that? The luxury market. The luxury market's up 40, not pricing, but overall productivity is up 41%. That is an outrageous figure. So that is why our averages are looking so off because they literally are throwing the rest of the market for a loop. The median is the thing that we have to look at. But even that, when we have so many of these high dollar sales, it becomes a little more difficult to really determine where are we. So what Tina Cromford has done is she actually did it based on region, which I think is hyper-local information, right? Much, much better information to work off of. So you can see like the Northeast Valley. So you're talking about Paradise Valley, North Scottsdale. Yeah, they're up 12.9% from 2022. but all of these other ones are not. So the West Valley specifically, our median is down 8% from 2022. So there is a very real possibility that if somebody has purchased in 2022, 23, or 24, they will lose money on selling their home. So they just need to be aware of this. I'm not a doomsday sayer. Ultimately, I will tell you one of the things I am noticing, especially out of this office, is that activity has definitely picked up, and we are the highest average sales price for this office only. So that's specific to all of you. So there's definitely some good that can come out of this, but I don't want you to be misinforming your sellers. The number of sellers who are still talking about how, well, the market continues to go up, and this is what I want to list for, there is nothing to substantiate that. So why are you all taking listings that are wildly overpriced? I wouldn't. I'm not looking to bear the brunt of somebody else's displeasure when it doesn't sell because we know we're way too high. So we have a total of 9 cities in a seller's market. We feel that we're definitely one of them. We're like one of the top ones. 3 balanced and 6 in a buyer's market. Flip, I'm sorry. We are one of the 6 in a buyer's market, not the seller's market. I think we went down, Goodyear being the we, went down 13.9%. Yeah, that's a pretty drastic change. For the market to still be moving in favor of buyers after the Super Bowl is unfortunately a signal of weakness. In a good season, we normally see enough demand by mid-February for the number of active listings to reach a peak and then start to decline. 2025 was also not a good season, and active listings did not peak until the end of April. And as it stands, it looks like 2026 is following a similar path. We just need to be aware of this. Are deals happening? Yes. You guys are closing transactions every single day, but you need to know what's going on in the market as a whole so that we can better educate our clients. Before I show you a giant penis light, are there any other questions? I said what I said. Are you all just stunned into disbelief this morning? I really don't think I've ever had such a quiet meeting before. It's Valentine's month. Figured if anything, I'm going to give you real estate tip number 69 because the small details matter, and a well-hung chandelier can enhance the beauty of your home and appeal to buyers. On that note, if you have nothing else, go about your day. Go close some of those deals. Bye, everybody at home. Feel free to steal this image when I send it out and post it all over your social media accounts.